My name is David Dickert, and I am the varsity administrator slash head coach slash research assistant at the university. So initially I joined on as a graduate student for coaching Call of Duty. And after that, I'm a Halo player at heart. And so at that time, we were waiting on Halo Infinite. We were seeing leaks and stuff like that. And so I went to the student president. I was like, hey, let me coach Halo as well. Here's this, and this. And he said, cool. And I said, all right, well, what about Rainbow Six? And he said, okay, here we go. And, the program here, it's relatively new. We've been around for 2 years and we started right before COVID hit. So we had a whole year of just, nothing. And so last fall was a really big push for us. Long story short, I just kept doing everything I can to help the program and to grow and to get recognition from the university. How I got into it is I just did it. I know that's not like an answer, but that's kind of the reality of it for us here at the university, at least. So I've been in esports for a long time. I used to be a player. When I was a freshman in college, Rainbow Six had just come out, and I was invited to go to California to play for a team, but I decided to do college instead. Who knows if that was a good decision or not, seeing as how Rainbow is as big as it is today. But at the end of the day, I chose the academic route. And since then, I kind of took my experience with esports as a player through Halo and through Rainbow Six, and I tried to adapt it because I also taught a little bit video game design in high school. So I took some teaching strategies from that job, and I took some experiences from my own time as a player, and I tried to just kind of morph them together for esports, and it seems to be working out pretty well. Yeah, I wanted to go to law school, actually. And that's a really big commitment for anyone that does that profession. And it's a long journey to get there. And for me, knowing that I wanted to do that meant that I had to give up on some other things to prioritize my school. And unfortunately, me not going to California was one of those things. Oh, it's insane. It's pretty hectic. I'm in and out of meetings with people throughout the day. Some days I'm in meetings with executive directors of admissions talking about how we can, encourage students from high schools to come to the university for esports, let them know that esports is available to them. Other days I'm in meetings with sponsors and partners from different companies. Sometimes I'm in a meeting with a CEO of a local company that wants to help out. Other days I'm just in the lab maintaining it. Believe it or not, so much cleaning. The amount of cleaning I have to do in this lab is insane. But yeah, so the day to day, I wake up, I check my calendar, I make sure I have everything I need. I have an intern actually from our academic partnerships on campus. And so we meet, we get some coffee, and we tackle the day, whether that's meetings, whether it's marketing, whether it's practices and games for NACE, for example. Every day is different, and that's kind of what makes this fun. I'm never bored. Well, big thing for me is commitment. The idea that you want to take something seriously. At SFA, we've got 640 community members in our esports program. We've got 75 student athletes signed for the university on a competitive level. And so, the biggest thing is on our recruitment side, it's two different types. We either recruit for a club aspect or someone who just wants to be interested in esports, wants it as that stress relief as they go through their collegiate career. Or we have those students who are just insanely talented and they want to come here to play for the team. And so, the first thing I look for is, would they be happy in our program? Would they be happy at our university? We're in the middle of the woods in East Texas, at Stephen F. Austin, where, the closest city is Dallas. We're in the middle of nowhere, or I guess it's Tyler really, but I want to make sure that they're going to be happy here. I want to make sure that they're going to be committed to the team. I want to make sure that they are, willing to go to tutoring for their classes, or they're willing to go to practices. I can teach a couple of things about the game that can get them to where they need to be. But the most important thing for me is that the student is taken care of, making sure that, this is what they want to do, where they want to be, all that fun stuff. And then, of course, we look at the skill, the rankings. And if someone's interested in the esports program, all we say is join our Discord, get involved. We have game nights. We have casual playing game nights with like Final Fantasy sometimes, like we did at Battlefield launch, and then they can just join a practice if they want to. For example, we have local high school students who come to our practices for Valorant, CSGO, Overwatch, just to get them interested. My recommendation is to talk to programs that have the support from the university to give scholarships. If a university is a part of NACE, more likely than not, they're supported with scholarships, or at least their players are. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't go check out other universities. Like, for example, for SFA, before we joined NACE, we were still talking about getting scholarships for players. There are a lot of universities out there that are building their esports programs, and they're trying desperately to get backing from the university. And sometimes the university will have no problem cutting out-of-state tuition for someone coming out of state. Or maybe you have a donor from the Alumni Association of your university who wants to support esports. Even if the university isn't fully supportive of esports, sometimes there's something there. Shopping around is great, making sure that you can get to a university that has good scholarships. Reaching out to coaches is amazing, especially because there's a lot of information on how to reach us. And just simply asking the question, hey, do you guys have scholarships? If you do, what are the requirements? What are the terms? Sometimes it's just a one-off, here's $2,000, and sometimes it's a commitment for 2 to 4 years. It never hurts to ask. And the advice I would have is to do just that, is to ask coaches, is to get in touch with programs. No, we've been competing in leagues for a long time. Well, as long as we've been alive, really. So it feels like a long time, but it's been maybe a year and a half, 2 years. So yeah, we've competed before many times, and we're excited about our competitions here with NACE. Okay, so I'm a little biased here. I'm a huge fan of Counter-Strike, and before this year, we didn't have a lot of student interest in Counter-Strike, and somehow they just came out of nowhere. And now we have like 15 people who are like, hey, let's play Counter-Strike. And so I'm excited about seeing how we can perform there. Our Rocket League team is very, very competitive. We ranked 3rd in the state of Texas for a local state cup, only losing to UT and Texas Tech. And so that's really big for us. I'm excited to see how Rocket League performs. Overwatch, I'm always happy and excited to see my players compete in that game. No matter how many times Overwatch gets hit with it's like 5 years old. I mean, it's a very intuitive game. Having a video game design background, I can tell that a lot of care went into it. So this seems like a non-answer answer. I'm excited about everything. I love this stuff. There's nothing I'm not excited about. Yeah, for sure. SFA, new program. We've got 640 plus Discord community members, and 90% of those are students on our campus. We've got a new esports facility, a lab inside our big student center. We have availability for new students on our new computers, our TVs, consoles, stuff like that. And, we're signing players. We have 75 players competing for the university. Half of those are with NACE, but the other half are competing in things like Rainbow Six, CLOL. We have a Rocket League team going into the CRL. It's insane. And I think people will be shocked to see an East Texas team coming up and seeing as the rising stars for Texas. But I truly do think that's where we're headed. I'm very excited about esports. Nationally, to anyone watching who's a high school student, get involved. Do what you can. If you want to get an esports program at your high school, get involved, get it started. There are faculty members that will help you. And then you can see that esports at the collegiate level it's here, and it's for all of you. So that's all I got.